are live. Welcome, everybody. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Good to see you all. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I am Chris with Monsters Under Our Bed. We cover true crime, mystery to the missing. Today, we're going to be talking about Caleb Harris. There is apparently a lead that they have. FBI and law enforcement are working on this case along with other resources, and we'll talk about that here in a bit. I just quickly wanted to get to this question. I just saw it, and here it is. Ashley. Oh, good. My thing's working. Ashley asks, hey, I have a missing person case that happens to be a mutual friend of mine. How do I submit it to your email? Yes, Ashley, I'm more than happy to feature somebody, a family member or a friend that went missing. I do that with anybody. You can just email me. Just please email me the details at jointhemobcrew@outlook.com. You can find it in the chat as well as in the description. But yes, I'd be more than happy to if you send me the details, and then I'll get back to you as soon as and let you know when I do that. But anyway, thank you guys again for tuning in. Before we get started with Caleb Harris and the new details and everything, we always like to feature missing people at the beginning of the show, and today we're featuring Aiden Clune. He went missing 2 years ago on April 27th. He was just 19 years old. He was suffering from mental health issues and sadly pulled his truck off the side of an interstate and wandered up into a mountain range and was never seen again. We have been out looking for him for 2 years, been out there many times searching for him, and we are going to be going out there again. It might be either Thursday, Friday, or Saturday this week. We were going to go down in Phoenix, but my partner just can't go out there during this month. So we're going to go to, because he's close to that area where Aiden Clune went missing, which is Wells, Nevada. But anyway, before we get started, I just want to mention we're going out there Friday or Saturday. It just kind of depends on the scheduling. But if you'd like to donate, we take Venmo, PayPal. That goes towards our search for the missing. I'm a drone operator, and we've been searching for Aiden for quite a bit. And we do have a lead, and I'll be talking about that with the members in the next live show. All right, so let's get to today's show. Let me move this over and get chat caught up here. That. So this is Caleb Harris. For anybody that's not familiar with his case, we'll go over his timeline real quick, and then we'll get into the new details. There was an interview with Jennifer Coffindaffer that happened, I believe, yesterday. She posted it yesterday, so I'm assuming either it happened yesterday or the day before. That's the most recent interview with the family. She actually did an interview with like the whole family. So I think this lead that they have, we'll talk about it when we listen to the interview. But I think it kind of gives us some hints as to what kind of lead it may be. But so here is Caleb Harris, and
vanished without a
this is the timeline of his disappearance.
trace. It's a strange disappearance. So 1 a.m., and it's before that 20 minutes. Caleb is on a Ring doorbell camera or some surveillance camera with his roommate, a friend, and their new dog. 2 a.m., the roommate goes to sleep on the couch. Caleb, like Mr. Harris mentioned, preparing his fishing reels the next day. It's the last time his roommate saw Caleb. 2:44, and this is where that critical time starts. Caleb sends a Snapchat, walking the new dog. 2:58, his phone turns off or it dies. Pings at his apartment complex. 3:20, that Uber Eats that he ordered. It's seen on a surveillance camera, but the footage, the information with the footage is kind of wonky. They're saying it could be a 1 hour kind of time swing. As you mentioned, the food's found on the doorstep the next morning. But the other thing to point out here, he wasn't planning to go anywhere. He walked outside without his keys, without his wallet, and he walked outside without shoes on. So that time, you're right, it's critical because it's just this small window where he was communicating with friends and family and then nothing.
So just a little bit on his disappearance for anybody that's not familiar. But yeah, he went missing March 4th of this year out of Corpus Christi. There's some video of him with his roommates. They had just gotten a new dog. They were all going to kind of take care of it. And so they were caught at, let's real quick here, at 1 a.m., I believe, is the footage when you see him with his friends walking his dog. And then later on, he would send another Snapchat. He would walk the dog again at 2:44, or just before that, because he would actually send the Snapchat of that at 2:44. And then his phone goes dead at 2:58. And then there's a Snapchat where he is just outside of his apartments near a bridge, and the friend gets the Snapchat at 3:03 a.m., but they don't believe it was actually sent at 3:03. It just it was probably that Caleb had sent it before 2:58 a.m., and then the friend received it at 3:03. But his phone definitely went dead at 2:58 a.m. So that means whatever happened to him happened just before that. And so we have, I just pulled this up here, and then we'll listen to the interview. I just broke down the minute, the most important details about this new lead, and we'll talk about that here in just a second. But I was looking at this and just kind of breaking down the time. Is basically at 2:44 is when he sends the Snapchat to his sister, and that's the one where he's kind of walking his dog, and he's in the parking lot. This isn't the ring cam footage. That's 2 hours earlier. But he sends that at 2:44, and then our next timeline is 2:58 where the phone's dead. So that means something happened to him before 2:44 and 2:58. And that's basically a 14-minute window. His apartment is right here, and it's pretty close. He's actually right in the middle here. It's not far from the entrance. So assuming he sends that Snapchat to his sister, we know that he goes out of the apartment complex, takes a right, and he doesn't go far, and there's this little bridge, and then you've just kind of got this ditch that goes along. Now, it didn't have water in it at the time. In this picture, it does show water, but when he went missing, there was no water in it. And that ditch has been searched very thoroughly. But it's most likely that he had, after 2:44, sending that Snapchat to his sister, he wandered out barefoot. He had already ordered his Uber Eats. I think he ordered that at sometime around 2 a.m. And then, or after 2 a.m. And then that wouldn't arrive until a little after 3. But yeah, so it seems like whatever happened was, in my opinion, I think happened by like 2:50 a.m. because in this new interview, before, for those who are familiar with this case, they had they thought the last phone ping was kind of a little bit west of where he was at near this church. But in this latest interview, really interesting, they say that this ping, which isn't, it's not the most accurate, is actually more north, which is kind of interesting. So that's something new as well. But for those that are just coming in, I'm going to play the interview. I just broke down the most important parts of it, but FBI is involved, law enforcement, obviously, and I'll let her kind of talk about it.
In Colorado, his phone went completely dead at about 3 in the morning. Brandy, I know you know the exact moment. that
258.
258. So a lot of people wonder, and again, I know in talking today to Police Chief Green, Assistant Chief Green, that
Oh, let me skip this forward. This is the other one. My apologies. Come back to that. We'll go to the new
with
one.
Randy and Tony take care of
It came from his roommate's family. And there was
it's actually received on the other end is a little bit had to he presumably
really
knows
at searches,
where his
Sorry.
get the major search done.
we don't know where the phone went dead at.
Correct.
Okay. I mean, that
Okay, I'm looking for the new one. I thought I cut this one out. Okay, here's the new one.
Shit, bro. Be drunk, bro.
less tracking people, fugitives to try to get through this process. But nevertheless,
So again, if you're just tuning in, this is with Jennifer Coffindaffer, and instead of just like having the dad, she actually has the entire family. I think there's like 6 of them: the mother, the father, Caleb's sister, I think his uncle, and I forget the other one, but there was 6 of them there with this interview that Jennifer did yesterday.
you all are human. And I can't imagine what it must be like to go through what you're going through. I want to talk a little bit about something that Assistant Chief Green told me. And, you know, obviously anything I said that I
Yeah.
wouldn't repeat, I'm not repeating. But there was one thing that he said I could say. And that was really, he wanted to address, he asked me if I would send this message to all the cyber sleuths, the, you know, people in the true crime community that really do care about helping find Caleb. And what he had to say was this, was that they are getting to a point, law enforcement is getting to a point that they do have some direction on where they're looking and what they're looking at. And so they're not at a brick wall yet, but the minute they get to a brick wall, they are going to make a release of information.
So that's really exciting news to hear. I mean, hopefully it doesn't come to where we need to help them, but it sounds clearly they have a lead. And we'll talk about kind of hints that I think this interview gives as far as maybe what may have happened. I think they're leaning towards some kind of abduction, foul play, and we'll talk about that here a little bit more. But I mean, at the very least, that's great that they at least have a lead, because it's been very quiet with this case. There hasn't been much regarding this case, unlike Riley Strain. There's a lot more going on, and it's really crazy because where he went missing, there are so many cameras. I mean, if you Google Earth and you go down to just about any intersection where he went missing, there are cameras. At this bridge here, just past where there's the interstate, which isn't very far, and it's got a bunch of cameras. But the thing was, during that night, as you can see on the right, even though it's not the best photo, because this is the bridge Snapchat photo, was because the roommate had it, and he knew that because it was Snapchat, it was going to delete. So what he did is he took another phone and he took a picture of a picture. That's why this quality, this infamous photo regarding this case isn't the best, because it's a photo of a photo. But anyway, as you can see, it was super foggy that night. So obviously that would not help his case when it comes to the cameras, because they may not have been able to see that well with the surveillance cameras. So anyway, we'll continue the interview here.
when they think they're at the point that it's going to help the case. And they don't think that right now. They don't think that what they're sitting on and not sharing, it's going to be helpful to share right now. But he wanted to assure everyone in the community, everyone who cares about Caleb, everybody who seeks justice and worries and advocates for the missing, it's coming. If they hit a dead end, they're just not there yet. And I found that to be just such good words, because to me, that means two things. That means, one, law enforcement isn't at a dead end. They have particular leads they're following, and they're looking in a particular direction, and it's not exhausted yet. And only when it's exhausted are they going to come, and then they say they're going to come to open it up more, or open it up to the public. And I think that'll be great once that happens, but let's hope that they resolve it before then.
So there's more to this interview, but I'm gonna pause it there so I can get to chat. Let me know what you guys think. What kind of lead do you think this is? To me, this leads towards, at the very least, abduction. Do they have, like I said, there's tons of surveillance cameras around at that town. It wouldn't be surprised if they have something on the camera, and they may need the public's help to, identify a car, or maybe even a person. And maybe right now they don't want to release that because they're investigating it themselves, and they don't want to tip off this person, because if they put it out in the public, then that might get out to them, and they may try to run or whatever. Geneva Corb, thank you so much for being a member for 19 months now. She says, it's been my pleasure. Thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it. Coffee and tea, thank you so much for the $4.99 super sticker. You are so awesome. Thank you so much. That'll go towards our search coming up this week. Every little bit helps. Thank you so much, Coffee and tea. So there is more to this interview, and I think it kind of hints at another area of this possible lead. So I will play that.
Lastly, I just wanted to know if we could kind of go around. Jeff, I'm going to start with you. What it is meant to have him gone, and any message that you might want to send.
So keep that in mind. So, and I'll show a picture of the family in the interview and how it's set up. But I thought that was kind of interesting. Like I said, they've got, I think, 6 family members that she's doing a StreamYard live with. And then they're kind of asking, what would you say to him if he could hear you? So to me, that's all hints towards, some kind of abduction. God, I'm having trouble with that word.
In case anybody that might be involved in this would. That's great. Oh, that's great. One of our chats, and I do want to address a couple of questions from the people listening, because they're very important. They think of so many things that we haven't thought of in tonight's discussion. One of them asked a question about an Apple Watch. Did he have an Apple Watch, and do you know what has been done concerning his Apple Watch?
Yes, he had a MacBook, an iPad, Apple Watch, and an iPhone. iPhone was never found. The MacBook was taken into forensics. The iPad and the iWatch were actually taken in and given to the Secret Service. They have more technology, probably the most advanced technology, to be able to crack into it, for better lack of words, and that was sent off to another state. And so they've been helping with the technology. But yes, there was an Apple Watch, and they do have that, and they've definitely been doing the forensics on it.
So right there, that's another, to me, a possible hint to this lead. It could be just unrelated, and they're just trying to look at every aspect, which obviously I'm sure they would do anyway. But it is interesting that she mentions that, even though, because obviously she knows a little bit more. I'm sure the family knows probably what she knows, but clearly she has connections because she's former FBI. Um, but it's interesting that she brings up the Apple Watch, which means communication. Right, kind of makes me think of the Stephen Smith case where they were looking at, his tablet and his phone records. And so, does that lean towards the supposed, Reddit thing, where he maybe had been looking for somebody, that kind of avenue? Again, let me know what you think in chat, but I think that was kind of interesting that she chooses that comment and talks about it.
Yeah, I'm so glad you mentioned that because the U.S. Marshals are involved. They have a great network for fugitive finding. That's one of the things they do, one of the initiatives they have. So it's great that they're involved. Secret Service, in talking to Assistant Green, had one specific thing they were able to help with, and that's just what you said. They sent it off to their lab in Miami and had the forensic analysis done on those two items, copied, mirrored, and sent back. I guess they were one of the only labs that existed to do that. And of course, the Bureau is handling the lion's share of all the digital forensics. So the Texas Rangers, for those who are wondering, they are also involved, offering up any assistance that are needed. Countless groups of divers and of searchers and volunteers, and the Texas Wildlife, I think, Commission also helped.
Texas Parks and Wildlife, Sheriff's Department, Coast Guard.
So yeah, right there, Nadia says, I think it's the Reddit lead where he put an ad for a date. It could be. Yeah, with them talking about the Apple Watch, looking up, kind of his history, certainly could be. That's kind of where I leaned. But I think, sadly, some kind of abduction, and that he didn't just wander off. And the fact that they have the entire family, and then she kind of has them, again, what I just said earlier, where they had each of them kind of, what would you say if you could say something to Caleb? So, just kind of heartbreaking. But it's great to hear that they have this lead, and if they can't figure it out, then they will let the sleuths and the public release whatever they have. If it's a picture from the surveillance. So this is them right there. I have it pause. Oh, don't pop up like that. But this was the family when they did the interview with her, which was posted yesterday. Which has got the father, mother, the sister, the uncle, and I'm assuming that one must be the grandparents sitting in the back there. So there's a little bit more to the interview, and I can't remember if it's at the beginning, but they talk about the phone. And did I put that at the beginning here?
Looking for the phone. It's not only looking for Caleb, but looking for the phone.
Went dead at.
Correct.
I feel your frustration, the different apps and, Apple and all these different.
Okay, so I think this is it right here. So, if you guys remember, if you had been following this case, his last phone ping, which originally was 312, but they know his phone died at 2:58. So this was kind of an old diagram here. But they thought it was kind of more west. And in this new interview, they talk about that the ping is actually more north. So I thought we'd look at that. Let me play the interview.
Thing that I know you all have been frustrated with in my conversations with you all. I feel your frustration. And I know in speaking with Assistant Chief Green today, how much he's frustrated. And that has been some of the subpoena and search warrant returns for information from the carriers or from the different apps and, Apple and all these different subpoenas that went out. Can you talk a little bit about that, Nana?
Me? Yeah.
Oh, did I? Is that the end of it?
Down the street at the church, and then over near the hospital, the pain center over there.
Oh, okay, this is it. All right. My apologies. I went a little bit past it.
Away still, but it was still close. 2 fields, 2 roads.
All right, that's it.
Eats at
That the phone went dead.
Okay, here we go.
Okay.
And then he did order Uber Eats at 2:45.
Okay, 3 minutes after. But as far as the triangulation of the phone, do we know exactly where that phone is when it triangulated?
No, we don't. Originally, when they first started looking at everything, it was a good mile away down at a church area. So of course they did a lot of searches right there immediately. But then once some other authorities were able to triangulate additionally, it was at another location about a mile away still, but it was still close. 2 fields, 2 roads further up north.
So, again, like I said, they had originally said it was west, and it was like at this church. And then, of course, they in the beginning they searched like crazy around that church because obviously, last phone pings, last pings in general are good, good leads. But unfortunately, they didn't find anything. Also, with not changing topics, but they with scent dogs, they didn't really get anything either, which is interesting. So it makes me really think that after he takes this picture, which has got to be, sometime around 2:50, even though it gets received at 3:03 by the person he sent it to, it still was sent clearly before 2:58 because the phone was dead. So I think it's really interesting to think, or kind of eerie, that right after he takes this picture, this Snapchat, something happens. Within minutes or seconds, which is really eerie to think about. So anyway, back to the ping. Now, in this interview, which is kind of another little new piece of information, is that they're saying that it's more north. And so we'll look at the map here in just a minute, because I kind of have a theory now looking at that, if it is true. But Kelly asks, just got here, what's happening? If you missed the first part, they do have a lead. They're still looking into it, but Jennifer Coffindaffer interviewed the family and said that if the lead doesn't pan out, she was told that she could share this, that if this so-called lead doesn't pan out for the FBI and law enforcement and the agencies working on it, that they would release something to the public. And she kind of talks about the sleuth. She first mentions a sleuth. So I think it's kind of interesting. It makes me think it's going to be some kind of still photo from a surveillance camera, or something to that effect.
They're kind of the hospital pain center area.
Let me back this up just a little bit. But this is the father talking about the new ping and where it's where they're getting the last phone ping from.
About a mile away still, but it was still close. 2 fields, 2 roads further up north near kind of the hospital pain center area. But again,
all right, I'm going to pause that. What do you say, hospital? I need to look that up.
it was still close, 2 fields, 2 roads further up north near kind of the hospital pain center area.
Hospital? Only a mile north, so that can't be very far. But there's something interesting that's, if you know the map well, there's something very big that's kind of northeast, but so it makes me wonder, this phone could be in a body of water.
But again, they never could determine that that's exactly where it triangulated to pinpoint it.
So, as far as you know, even with the FBI being involved, they were never able to triangulate exactly where his phone was when it went out of service or when it called Uber Eats.
The best we would know is that when he called Uber Eats, he would have been at the apartment complex. The additional ping that they were chasing, that's the one that they were chasing down the street at the church, and then over near the hospital, the pain center over there. That's where they felt like there was a possibility of the phone being. So there was a pretty major search done in both of those areas, not only looking for Caleb, but looking for the phone.
So let's just look at that real quick. Let me get to chat real quick. Maddie's mom, good to see you. Thank you for covering the story, and thank you so much for being a member, and thank you so much for the $2 donation. You are so sweet. Thank you so much. Get caught up in chat here. So yeah, let's look at this ping in the map and pull up. Oh, I had it pulled up. All right. Cottages at Corpis Christi. Here we go. All right, let's just kind of look at his that over. Pop that. So here is where he lived, and I believe it's been a minute since I've covered this case, but I believe it's one of these 2 apartments, or condos, one of these 2 right here. And so obviously he wouldn't have to walk far to walk out of the entrance right here. For those who are wondering, the infamous video where they're walking the dog, that is actually taken when they actually walk this way. And somebody has a camera on this, I believe, on this building here, looking this way. And so they're kind of walking, enjoying the dog because they just got it. And then they would walk back. And then he would obviously walk it around 2:30, 2:40, and then send the Snapchat video of him walking the dog for a second time that night. And then clearly right after that, then in 2:45, I forgot, Uber Eats is when he sends that. So right after he sends the Uber Eats, then he would probably come out here. And then, of course, the bridge, which isn't very big. It looks big, but it's not. And, of course, they have searched this ditch, and nothing. Originally, the phone allegedly pinged right here, or around in this area, which is kind of basically mostly west, a little bit north, but around this area. But according to this new interview, they're saying it pings about a mile north, which we go straight up, we kind of run into a body of water right here. But it does make me wonder, was he abducted, and could they have thrown his phone in the bay there? Because whatever the ping is, it's not going to be super accurate, but about a mile, if we just look at what a mile is north, not very far. Oh, there it is. I think a mile is about. Oh, that's 2. Oh, well, that says 2 miles. Oh, I missed. But that's about from where I've got it from that here to here. That's about a mile, even though it's got this wrapped around. So I mean that's not very far, obviously, but again you've got this the Oso Bay right here. So it does make me wonder if that ping is accurate or close to. It could be in the water. And we've seen that happen many times. I don't know what has been searched as far as the water. Be interesting to know. But yeah, kind of interesting. But anyway, it's good news that they have at least a lead, and I really think it could be that Reddit thing. Because they're looking into what sounds like his social history, so it definitely could be related to that Reddit post. Peyton, oh, you sent 10 on PayPal. Thank you so much, Peyton, for the donation. You are so sweet. Thank you so much. As you guys know, any donations are very welcomed, and I will put them to good use. And like I said, we're going to be going out in a few days. So I think there's a little bit left on this interview here.
Okay, but those, I guess, were done after it went dead. Is that what basically they believe now? It was after the phone went dead and later.
Sorry, I'm going to pause this. Yeah, I know there's always new people to this case. Cheryl. Yeah, no, the dog is fine. The dog was brought back. He walked the dog and then he came back, ordered Uber Eats. And then I think, in my opinion, this is just my opinion. It's just because this is what I used to do. Is I would order. I had DoorDash, and what I would do is this out real quick. But so he ordered it at what 2:45. And then it seems like he wandered out. Now it got to the residence at 3:20, and for anybody that's familiar with Uber Eats or DoorDash, you have a phone. You have your phone, and of course you have the app, and you can see the driver. So obviously, when you order something, you have a driver that there's a bunch of people that can work for those companies, and they accept the order, and then once they do, you can see where they're at in real time. And sometimes they'll kind of give you updates if you got the app open. Uber Eats may be a little bit different, but I'm sure it still does the same thing as DoorDash. But typically, you would know where your driver's at, if they have picked up your order yet. If they have, then they're on their way, and so you kind of know where they're at. And what I used to do is, when there was a few minutes before they arrive, I would usually walk outside the house, and then I would just greet them at the road. But usually, DoorDash, Uber Eats, they will, unless someone's there to grab the order, they will just drop it off in front of the door, take a picture, and then they send it, and then they move on to their next order. But because I don't know if this is a fully gated community, I can't remember. But yeah, anyway, in my opinion, I thought maybe he was walking and waiting for the Uber Eats. And then something happened, he got abducted. But it could be he was maybe meeting up with somebody.
Ping that went out, that's sort of that phantom ping that we're talking about. So
Correct.
Really, we don't know where the phone went dead at.
Correct.
Okay. I mean, that's a big piece of information that needs to be answered. In this case, something that I know you all have been frustrated with in my conversations with you all, I feel your frustration. And I know in speaking with Assistant Chief Green today, how much he's frustrated. And that has been some of the subpoena and search warrant returns for information from the carriers or from the different apps and, Apple and all these different subpoenas that went out. Can you talk a little bit about that, Nana?
Me? Yeah.
Okay, so if you guys missed it, I'll play the one little piece one more time because I know there's a lot more people in here. So I'll play that one little piece where they talk about the new info. It's very short. It's only like 2 minutes. So I'll just quickly play that real quick.
Yes.
The background video you're going to watch is one thing that also happened that night, which I thought was kind of interesting, was because it was so foggy that night, there was actually a wreck. I don't think it was very bad. It wasn't fatal or anything, but there was a wreck, and it happened kind of around the time frame of when Caleb went missing. I don't think we have an exact time of when this happened, but it did happen that same night. And it did make me wonder, did Caleb hear that and then maybe go wander off? But again, that's just a theory. But this kind of shows how foggy it is. A guy kind of took a short little video of the wreck, and he was looking at his car. I guess he's got some scratches or something on his car.
I don't know what the hell they did, bro, but they did something.
Tracking people, fugitives, to try to get through this process. But nevertheless, you all are human. And I can't imagine what it must be like to go through what you're going through. I want to talk a little bit about something that Assistant Chief Green told me. And, obviously anything I said that I wouldn't repeat, I'm not repeating. But there was one thing that he said I could say. And that was really, he wanted to address, he asked me if I would send this message to all the cyber sleuths, the people in the truth.
I thought that was interesting that she starts with cyber sleuth. Again, let me know if you guys have any theories. To me, it just makes me lean towards, because us cyber sleuths love, myself, looking at, a still footage from, a still photo from security footage. And that's what I kind of lean towards. But, I mean, there could be other things. But how old was Caleb? Gosh, what is he, 20? Oh, shame on me. I'll be able to tell you here in a second, or chat will get it.
Crime
I want to say
community
21.
that really do care about helping find Caleb. And
so this is, again, if you missed earlier, I played this earlier. This is just a short little clip where they mention the lead.
What he had to say was that they are getting to a point, law enforcement is getting to a point that they do have some direction on where they're looking and what they're looking at. And so they're not at a brick wall yet, but the minute they get to a brick wall, they are going to make a release of information when they think they're at the point that it's going to help the case. And they don't think that right now. They don't think that what they're sitting on and not sharing, it's going to be helpful to share right now. But he wanted to assure everyone in the community, everyone who cares about Caleb, everybody who seeks justice and worries and advocates for the missing, it's coming. If they hit a dead end, they're just not there yet. And I found that to be just such good words.
Yeah, that's great news, because this case has just been absolutely, it's devastating. And it really hasn't been much. It's been a pretty quiet case. Scent dogs didn't pick up anything. Cadaver dogs didn't pick up anything. Many searches conducted, nothing. Sadly, he doesn't have much on him other than, his pants, shirt, hat, and phone. That's it. I don't even think he had his wallet or anything else. So yeah, there isn't a lot of items or clues that he could leave behind other than, those few things that he had with him. But yeah, that's great news. So I'm going to play this. I'm going to catch up on chat real quick here.
Because to me, that means two things. That means, one, law enforcement isn't at a dead end. They have particular leads they're following, and they're looking in a particular direction, and it's not exhausted yet. And only when it's exhausted are they going to come, and then they say they're going to come to open it up more, or open it up to the public. And I think that'll be great once that happens, but let's hope that they resolve it before then.
Yeah, all right, Lone Pony, there are other suspicious cases in that area, which I'm sure has been discussed, investigated. Yeah, you have the Lady Bird Lake thing going on. It's kind of almost like another smiley face killer out there, possibly. But yeah, you have a lot of college men, adult males, bodies being found in the water. Let's hope this isn't the case with Caleb, and hopefully they can bring him home alive and well. When am I leaving and where to? I was gonna go to. I wanted to go to Phoenix. I might have to wait a month because I can't go alone, especially traveling. And my partner just unfortunately is not able to go that far south. But so we're going to Wells, Nevada to search for Aiden Clune, which is close to him. So that's what we're going to be doing. Curious, how deep is Oso Bay? It's a good question. I was wondering that myself, because if the phone is going this way and it's at 258, yeah, it does make me wonder, could it be in the bay? Let's see. Also, trying to type very softly. About 2 to 3 feet. Oso Bay covers 1,700 acres. 17,000, excuse me. Redfish Bay. Why is it talking about Redfish Bay? Two to 3 feet. It can't be 2 to 3 feet deep. The whole thing? There's no way. Well, Oso Bay is only 2 to 3 feet deep. Is that true? I know we have some locals in the chat. Is Oso Bay, the whole thing's only 2 to 3 feet deep? There's no way. Is it? Yeah. You can definitely see like sandbars and stuff and land from the satellite image. Yeah, it doesn't look deep. Yeah, I don't know how much of that's been searched or not. I would think if it wasn't that deep and there was a body, they probably would have found it by now, I'm sure. What's it been? It's March 4th, beginning of March. We're at March, April. So we're at least 2.5 months with him missing. Yeah, it'd be 3 months with June 4th. Gosh, man, it feels like we just started covering this case too. It's sad, but that's, again, they have a lead. That's amazing. We don't know what that is. I think there's kind of some hints to it. Peggy, thank you so much for the $10 super sticker. You are so sweet. Thank you so much. Jennifer Rochelle. Oh, she hit the big 2-4. That's so awesome. Got a 24 by her name. That's awesome. Love you, Chris, mods, members, and chats. Thank you so much, Jennifer, for everything you've done. And that goes to all the mods as well. The mods are amazing. They come in here, they don't get paid or anything. I do try to send them gifts. I wish I had more money so I could pay them. But it's amazing that we have mods come in and do this without getting paid. So it's really amazing. Oh, Harley Morris. Yes, I just featured Harley Morris. Let's see, where did he go missing? Tyler, Texas, right? Tyler, Texas. I just remembered that. Let's see. How close is that? Why didn't it go in? Okay, so it's about 6 hours away. It was Tyler, right? With that one on Harley Morris? Or is that a different one? That might be a different one. But there is one from Tyler, Texas. I do know that. But yeah, and then you have where's Lady Bird Lake? I think that's in Austin. That's closer. And that isn't very far. I mean, that's just 3-hour drive. Some would say that's a long ways, but if there was a serial killer involved, it's certainly possible. Enlightened Fawn. Thank you, Mob Crew. It means a lot to me, and I know to others that you are reporting on Caleb's case and the recent updates, etc. It is my honor and pleasure. I love helping the missing, and I wouldn't be able to do it without this amazing community, but to back me up. So, you are very welcome. Kelly, the OG, all of that area has been searched thoroughly. Thank you for sharing that. I thought, I know, with what, 2.5 months now, that, yeah, a lot of that would have probably been searched. Oh, here we are. But anyway, so I think that is about it. Let's see if there's anything on the page. I know that Tony Mathis, I think he's a PI. Tony Mathis? I know it's Tony. He's moved on to working with the Sebastian Rogers case. I think he's still working both. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he still has his hands in both cases. And he did make a statement here. But that could be just maybe because, there is a lead and FBI is working on it. Again, I don't know. That's just kind of speculation on my part. Average depth is 11 feet. Okay. Yeah, that sounds more right. And that's about the Oso Bay. Yeah. So that's not very deep then. 16 feet? That's not deep at all. Debbie, good to see you. Thank you so much. Oh, you're talking about the other guy. Okay. Harley Morris in Tyler, Texas. Okay, so yeah, it was Tyler, Texas. Yeah. Let's see. Let's see if so I've been trying to keep my eye on Riley String because there's also going to be the toxicology report coming out any day. It has been done for like, what, 2 weeks now? Maybe a week and a half. But that was supposed to actually be released like a week ago. The toxicology and the autopsy, the second one that the family had, and then they were going to release those both, but then they got hired attorneys, and so they believe because since they hired attorneys, now they've kind of gone quiet. So keeping an eye on that, because I'm assuming eventually we will get to see that. So I just wanted to mention that because that's another case we cover. But anyway, just one more time, we'll put up his face before we go. This is Caleb Harris, 21 years old, brown hair, brown eyes, 5'11", 180 pounds. Last seen in Corpis Christi. And yeah, he left behind his vehicle, keys, wallet, and ID. So, I mean, he just had pants, shirt. I don't even know if he had a hat on, and then his phone. But we'll keep an eye on that case. And of course, if they have any new updates, we will definitely cover it. But it's good to hear that they there's something going on. And then if they can't figure it out, then they're gonna release it to the public. So hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully that doesn't happen, and they figure it out. And they find him. Richardson family, good to see you. Better late than never. But I love you guys. I wish I had more, but that's all they have. But I think that's pretty important that they do, at the very least, have leads going on. And if it doesn't pan out, then they'll release something to the public. So with that, I am gonna head out. Again, one more time. We are going to be searching for Aiden probably Thursday, Friday, or Saturday. We're just kind of looking at the weather, and but we have a lead on his case. This is Wells, Nevada. So the donations and Venmos and PayPals that come in, we use that towards going out and actually help searching for the missing. So and I've been searching for him for 2 years, and again, we have a lead. And so that's why we're kind of focused on him again. So, and I'll hopefully maybe have a members live before we go out there. So with that, I am gonna head out, guys. Lone Pony, thank you so much. Says thanks, Chris. Love, I appreciate your support, Lone Pony. Thank you so much. Hopefully I didn't miss anybody. I will be back on probably tomorrow, because if I go Friday, I won't be able to go live Friday. So I'll probably be on tomorrow. So mods, I'll probably go same time. That way, because I'll probably be gone Friday. All right, guys. I hope you guys have a great rest of you guys' day, morning, afternoon, wherever you're at. And we will be back tomorrow. And again, for anybody that has a missing family member, friend, you can email me. I'd be more than happy to feature them in the next upcoming live show. With that, I'm out. Love you guys.